Alright guys, welcome back to the series of Idle Adventure video. Today we're going to go through all the best potentials for every single legendary character now that we have like the full context of the game, to where like, you know, now bosses give relevance towards some characters that I wouldn't previously use. I know last time when I made my potential guide, I said to give Diane, you know, HP and also defense, because that is on paper what she wants, but we'll go through it later on. You actually probably want to give her a full attack, so we'll explain that when we get towards her. I'm not going to bother covering unique characters because I don't feel like I need to. Every single unique character wants attack if you actually use them, whether that be like a DPS character. Of course, if they are a tank character like the Ghetto, then you want to give them full HP. That is basically it. And if you're not actually using a character, like a unique character, just give them max HP rolls. The reason why, someone like Dolores, for example, I don't actually use. So what I've done to her is give her full HP because I don't care about using her. And the reason why you want to give a character full HP potentials is because they get more CC. So if you want to grow your box to get, you know, more box rewards and just have the highest box CC possible, you ideally want to give everyone in your box HP. That's if you don't use them. Of course, if you're using them, then give them something different, and we're going to go through it today. But if you were actually to use Dolores, you do want to give her full attack. I don't use her, so I'm just going to give HP just to get more CC. So start off with Bon. We'll probably run through all of them straight away. Bon is pretty simple. You give him a full attack character. He is one of the best DPSs still in the game, since he can get towards higher actual dupe levels more than any other character, because he is one of the few good DPSs out of like the starter characters, essentially. And he doesn't really care about critting. Sure, if you crit, it's nice, but just give him full attack, so when he does crit, he does as much damage as possible. Escanor is in the same situation. You want to give him full attack because he's going to be one of the best, is the best DPS for majority of content, because he has type advantage over everyone when he does have, or when he uses ultimate. Derieri, you want to give her full attack as well. Remember, she herself has outrageous stats. If you look at her defense and HP, you can see comparable towards Escanor, it's double that essentially, right? Because they planned for her to run to the backline in PvP, so don't bother giving her, you know, 4 HP stats, because it doesn't matter. Let her do what she wants to do, and that is run to the backline, whether that be in Tower Trials or in PvP, and do a massive nuke and making her do more damage as possible. So give her full attack. Estarossa, we covered it in my recent video. We broke it down. Despite him being a tank character, you do actually want to give him full attack. The main reason why is because the reason why you're using Estarossa as a tank to begin with is not to actually tank. If you want a tank character, you're better off going towards the Ghetto or any other tank that can tank better. The main reason why you use Estarossa is for the DPS tank, and he does that by having the reflect buff from the full counter, and the reflect buff does scale off his actual attack. So of course, give him full attack. That is going to make him do as much damage when he does counter or reflect damage back. Okay, so Merlin, for me personally, I've given her full attack. You could, if you want to, go down the HP route, because she may get targeted a little bit more in PvP. But for me, the only time I really use Merlin is mostly in my boss fights, whether that be in the, you know, whether event boss is currently out, or maybe I'm playing the knighthood boss, and at that point I want as much points as possible, so getting like an extra 50 million damage of Merlin, if that's how much it actually would give, I don't know. It's just better for high scores, so I don't mind it, because the boss, they get to a certain point where they're going to one-shot you. I don't think max HP is going to make that much of a difference. Okay, so for Monspeet, what I've done is 3 attack rolls and also 1 accuracy. If anything, depending on your dupe levels, you might want to go a bit more into accuracy. The reason why, because what's very important with Monspeet is to land this skill here, right? This is, you know, if it crits, if you land a skill, you're going to get more energy, and also this skill right here. Just landing this is important. If you want to use him in Tower Trials, then probably full attack would be probably the best thing, right? Or maybe in PvP. But I do know when I was using him, and the main reason why I was using him in the hard difficulty or story mode was to land those Hellblazers. And I noticed as I got towards the higher ranks or higher stages in the hard mode, I was missing more of Monspeet. But then again, that was when he was at a lower dupe level, when now I have gone to a 6 star, so I don't think he misses as much. But even still, I think Monspeet, you could probably give, obviously, more accuracy onto him, just so he's more likely to actually land those blazes, because if he doesn't, then why use him on speed? That's kind of my reason. So, for me, this has been okay. Once again, even if you missed, you can always just retry again. There's no penalty to retry in. But, you know, sometimes in Tower Trials or maybe in PvP, you want to have a bit more DPS, because Monspeet does do a lot in his ultimate, being a massive AoE nuke a little bit. So, yeah, a little bit a mix between attack and also accuracy is kind of what I've gone for Monspeet. Gluxinia heals based off actual attack, so of course just give a full attack here. That's all that matters towards the character. King is honestly probably the best blue DPS in the game, and he's a support character. We just don't have that many good blues. I think we have Estarossa and obviously Galan. Galan being obviously single target, but at least when you're playing Tower Trials, you want some good AoE damage dealers, and unfortunately King is the only one. We really do need a good blue character soon, and for now, I'm just going to give full attack towards King. Maybe in the future, I'll change that towards accuracy if I need to. But as it is right now, he is one of my main damage dealers for blue characters when it comes towards Tower Trials or even the actual gold dungeon farm when the bosses or the goblins are actually, light type, so he does more damage. So yeah, for me, for King, full attack. Diane, like I did say at the start of the video, Diane, if you were to actually use her for what she's kind of made for, and that is to be a tank character essentially that can heal herself, then you would give more defense to where she can actually heal herself. But I will say self-heal abilities, that being Diane and let's say someone like Estarossa that can give regeneration towards the commandments, they actually don't heal that much. You heal way more and more reliably with an actual healer. And we are getting to the point now that sometimes the healers can't even keep up a little bit. So what's that say for someone that can self-heal? It's not a lot. The only time you ever use Diane nowadays is in the Silver Demon and boss fights. Boss fights, at least not in the knighthood bosses, most of the time, or 90% of the time, they are not immune towards petrification. So at that point, Brain Diane is very, very good. And at least in my testing, she never dies first. In fact, you're more likely to either run out of time, or your whole team will likely die before Diane, even with full attack. So why give her HP? Why give her defense? Just give her full attack so you can clear that boss even faster or get a higher score if you're using the, like, the little Halloween event, basically. So for me, Diane, I give her full attack. It's not going to change too much. You're probably going to get, what, like an extra, like, 20, 30 million. But still, that's better than bringing HP defense. You're going to get more out of her. Plus, I would say in Tower of Trials, she does an unreal amount of damage just because she has a massive AoE petrify that it does hit quite a few people, and this skill, when it does heal, still deals alright damage. It's a high multiplier, and it is like a little AoE skill too. So yeah, Diane, I'm gonna give him full attack. She can be a bit of a damage dealer. Gilthunder, I gave him full attack. He's a character that most people should get deep attack quite a lot. So he's going to have okay stats. Like, he's not too bad. Mine is 7-star right now. And yeah, I stopped kind of using him. I used him a lot early on. But now we got better characters. He's okay. Like, you will use him for damage dealer and at least his actual, skill 2 here. If it does crit, it will apply shock, and shock deals damage based off his actual attack. So yeah, for Gilthunder, give him full attack. For Henrickson, same situation a little bit. He is going to scale off his attack with acid debuff, so give him full attack. That's the only time you ever use stuff like if you really want a actual good blue DPS character. But even then, I think look at his attack stat. It's so bad, bro. It's because they gave away for free. They gutted his stats, bro. It's actually unreal. Like, look at King. King is not even DPS. He's got 3 million attack, basically. That's what it is. And he's just got a little bit higher. I need a DPS, and he's like 2 stars higher than King. It's, yeah, ridiculous. Arthur, I give him the attack because when I do use him in maybe the Silver Demon or some other content like boss fights, you're more or less using him to clear something fast with Barn. I don't see you using him in PvP, but since he is a upfront brawler a little bit because he's got very close range, being 30 range, you might want to give him HP, but whenever I use him, it's because I'm going full DPS with Barn, full DPS with the light team. And at that point, get Arthur to deal a little bit more damage is always better for me, so full attack for him. Fraudrin, I have 4 HP. He's a tank character, and when he does revive based off his max HP, so giving him max HP means he's going to tank a lot more because he's going to have more HP to kill him, and then when he does eventually die, he's then going to res with even more HP. Even though I don't think Fraudrin right now is worth using, if I was to use him, this is what I would be doing, and that's kind of why we geared him up a little bit. Downfall is not really usable no more because you have Merlin to buff up Escanor's crit chance, but if you were to use, Downfall is, you do want to probably give a full crit chance, because the only reason why you're using her is to give crit chance towards your green characters. But even then, it's not reliable because you have to bring a melee based character, so she's more likely to die, and when you do get the crit chance, and that's only when you do actually crit, you are only going to get 20%, which is what Merlin does passively throughout the whole game anyway, and it does only last 3 seconds. Her crit chance, you can see right now for me, is almost like 140 It's not bad, but you will get to the point, at least in like hard stages, where she's probably not going to crit. But you know, if you're using this character, it's because you want this ability, or maybe you're using her because you want this ability. And at that point, maybe give her HP. But for me, I'm just going to give her full crit chance. Okay, so Ile is kind of similar towards Danaful is, to where when she crits, she removes buffs. And sometimes you might literally just want to use Ile just to remove buffs. And at that point, yeah, give her full crit chance, right? But for me, I gave her full attack. The main reason why is because this ultimate is 2-meter radius, and it does alright damage. If you actually use Ile in the Tower Trials, and it's kind of the only time you ever use her because there aren't that many reds in the hard stages for Tower Trials, she can be a little bit of a damage dealer, so I don't mind it. And at least for herself, she does increase her crit chance. You also have Merlin to increase her crit chance, so she will likely be critting anyway. And I have used her in Tower Trials to where the crit is okay. It's just I don't need to rely on crit chance under potential. Just give him full attack. Galland is a pure DPS character, pretty straightforward, a full attack here. Then go for what I have got here is accuracy and attack. So the reason why I got accuracy is just because mine was a low dupe level for a long time. He was like 2-star and 3-star to where he was missing more than I would like, and very similar towards actual Monspeet. The only reason I use Gopher is for literally to land this, to get the final accuracy, to give that restore energy, and he only does that when he does successfully land an attack, and also reducing your cooldowns. You don't need him to be attack. I do use him a little bit in the Silver Demon, so I do want a little bit extra attack out of him because he actually is a little bit of a good DPS in that raid boss. So at that point, if I got him to a 6-star, maybe even 7-star, I would switch it all to attack. But for right now, because he is more likely to miss, and if he's missing, then why am I bringing him? I'm going to give him a bit more accuracy. Drole is a weird one. So ideally, you want to give him more HP so he does survive more, and so he can tank more because he does become mortal. But in ultimate skill right here does heal HP based off his defense, and like I spoke about earlier on with the other Diane, and also, I mean, maybe it's okay now with the regeneration rate from Estarossa, but like self-heals just aren't great. Like, if you're honest, they aren't great. They don't heal a lot. They don't do too much. You're just better off to bring healer. And Drole, once he gets his immortality, he can't heal himself back up, right? So that defensive stat is useless. I think, if anything, I might just want to give him full HP. But I know when I was rolling, I got defense. I thought, okay, I'll just keep it. But I think full HP on Drole is probably the best outcome here. Meliodas, you want to give him full attack here. You could go a little more crit chance. But as you can see right now, my crit chance, because I leveled my actual count, is what, almost 140 crit chance, and with Merlin it's extra 20%. Maybe before you had to give him a bit more crit chance, but you might as well just give him full attack, because even critting, it's like, sure, I do more damage, and I do reduce my cooldown, and I do have a high multiplier on this skill too. Like you see, right, it's basically double damage essentially, right? I just think you can crit up by other means, and plus you can get your crit chance increased from this skill here. He's going to have really good crit chance. I don't think having rolls on this is going to be useful. If anything, just give him full attack, so if he doesn't crit, he still does a lot of damage, and if he does crit, the attack still scales off his crit damage, so give him more attack as well. That's what I'm going for. Nanashi I don't use, but if you were to use him, you would give him full attack because he needs to kill. If he doesn't kill, he doesn't get his actual restore energy, and at that point, why use Nanashi? You want this guy to crit, you want him to do damage, and if he doesn't, then he's just useless. Okay, so for Dreyfus, what I've done for this character is a little bit attack and also a little bit HP. If anything, I might want to give him full HP because the only time you ever use this character is in the Tower Trials, and that's because you want to lower the enemy's critical resistance to where you can then follow up with a massive Derieri ultimate, and he's got to survive. He's very close range. You can see 50 range. 50 range. It's not bad. It's not far. This skill, though, is close range, so you will be up in the front to do that little slash damage, but at least this skill in the back can hit the backline a little bit. It's just, yeah, you want to survive a little bit, and if he dies, then you're losing that critical lower for Derieri. I'd give him HP. We do have attacks just because I rolled it, and I don't use him too much, but at least a little bit extra damage can be helpful. I remember him sometimes. I think he does alright damage, but yeah, 4 HP on Dreyfus. Okay, so for Melascula is a bit of a tricky one because she is a character where she's a support character. She's not got the biggest range. It's 50. She does stay in the fight a little bit, and I'm struggling to find a use for her. I'm not too sure where I would ever use her in any context other than maybe like a full commandment team PvP, or maybe when we do get buffs towards the commandment team with like Zeldris, for example, or Assault Meliodas. I don't see her being too usable, so if anything, I might want to give her full attack. Just because she does heal based off her attack as well. She does land, has a chance to heal based off the caster's actual attack. So, yeah, that will be a reason why she does solidify a little bit, so she's not going to target too much. Maybe in PvP, you would find a Derieri. At that point, she's probably dead anyway, to where, you know, I get a little bit of heals out of her, so why not? Slater, you probably wouldn't use. I've given him 4 attack because this skill right here does scale off his actual attack, but it just doesn't do damage. Like, his attack is so low. It's so low. Look, if I wouldn't use him at all, but if I was, it's because I want him for something. Maybe I want this bleed effect somehow in some other context at that point, maybe give him 4 attack, but I just wouldn't use him. If anything, I'd say probably give him 4 HP just because you're probably not going to use him. Like I just say, you're probably not going to use Slater, so at that point, just give him 4 HP because why not? He's going to have more CC in your box. Elaine, I've given her 4 accuracy. The reason why is because, at least for me, she was a low level for a long time, and also, yeah, you're using her for 2 reasons. 1, to get the critical resistance lower, and that is the only reason why, and also the crit chance, I guess, a little bit. It does do a big meter radius, so you could use her for a little bit of DPS, but she is green, and you probably would only use her in the Tower Trials, and you don't need her to be a good green DPS, because you already have Estarossa, you have Monspeet, and you have Escanor. So, yeah, the only thing you use her for is for this, so give her 4 accuracy. That's it. Henrickson, same thing as well. Maybe if I was to dupe him out a lot more, I would give him 4 attack. But the only time you ever use Henrickson now is in the knighthood bosses, because you want to get that actual infection to where you can actually get one of the little nodes in the boss fight to proc the weakness. And if you don't know how the boss fights actually work, the more damage you deal to them, the more stats they increase. And it will get to a point where your characters that are low dupe levels will start missing. So if there's an extra 10% chance that I can get a hit because I have more accuracy rolls onto him, to allow me to get the break to where I can do more damage with my points, my characters, and get a higher score, I'm giving 4 accuracy. Once the boss ramps up to where he starts wiping everyone out, it does not matter if he's got HP rolls on. Let me just give him 4 accuracy, so I'm more likely not to miss. And since right now, the boss he is not type advantage, so he's, unlike Ren, doesn't have that extra 20% accuracy. So, yeah, for me, the only time I ever use him is in night bosses, so at that point, I want him to not miss, and that's literally all I need him for. I don't need him for damage, I don't need him for anything, I just need him not to miss. Give him 4 accuracy. Matrona is a tank character, not a great one. You wouldn't use her at all, so just give her 4 HP. If you were to use her, that's probably what you want anyway, because all you want her to do is to survive, and every time she gets hit, you're going to get the giant pride, and yeah, just surviving is the best thing. So getting more HP, you're already getting critical resistance. That's all you need from the statue of Matrona, just to survive. Henrickson is 4 attack as well. You don't ever use him. Maybe you use him a little bit in knighthood bosses because he does have the break ability. So you can arguably use the same logic as Demon Henrickson to where you can give him 4 accuracy. But there are more break characters in the game. There are only like 3 usable actual people that can apply infection. Unless you want to start using like the basic heroes and the rare heroes, right? But there are a lot of characters that apply break for the legendaries and also unique characters. So you wouldn't normally use Henrickson. So I've just given him 4 attack. If anything, you'd probably just give him 4 HP just because in your box, you're going to get more CC. Diane, 4 HP as well. Maybe if you go with her towards like a high deep level, towards like 7-star, 8-star, to where she has got naturally high evasion. But even then, you're not going to miss. And plus this too, like I can see there being a strat where you go full evasion to where she's more likely to miss. But just, you know, be reliable. You will eventually run into whales, at least in PvP or maybe in bosses, to where they're not going to miss against you because you have such high stats. They will not miss. So why give her evasion when it's useless? They're not going to miss. So just give her 4 HP, like Drole, make her survive long as possible, and you do that by giving her max HP. Moving in towards Derieri, she is a character that just needs to heal, and she doesn't even need to successfully land an attack. She just heals anyway, so just give her more attack. You're going to heal more anyway. Denzel, you are literally never going to use this character. I've not even seen his animations. I wonder how he look. I don't know. But what I've given him is 4 attack and HP as well. Once again, this character is just a CC character. What I was doing was rolling 4 HP. But then I got attack, so I thought, okay, you know what? I'll keep it because attack is lower CC than HP, but I just thought, okay, you know what? I'm not going to read potentials. I would change in the future, but for right now, I just do the attack a little bit. So do 4 HP onto Denzel. Alright, so for Hellbrum, I've given him 4 accuracy. The main reason why is because you don't use him ever outside of the night bosses, because there are only 2 characters in the game that can apply Petrify, him and also Diane. So in that logic, whenever you do want to use a Petrify character, you're always going to go towards Diane because she's just a naturally better character. So that's why Diane is 4 attack, because she has natural high stats. You get more copies of her for free. You're going to have pretty good accuracy for Diane, right? With a Hellbrum, like most of you lot, is probably a low deep level, and you need him for the night boss. So same reason as Demon Henrickson, I do not want him to miss, because if he does miss, then I'm probably not going to get the weakness effect to where I'm not going to get a high score, and you only have 2 runs a day. Let me eliminate that RNG of him missing by giving him more accuracy. So that's kind of what I've done here. Gila, you want to give her full attack. The main reason why is because you only ever use her probably likely in Tower Trials. And I will say, sometimes, even at a low deep level, she has done the most damage because she gets the ult first. She does majority of the damage to where my Escanor can't compete because his ult level is behind, like in the rotation to where he can't ult, so he doesn't do as much damage. But yeah, Gila, she's impressed me a little bit. Also, when you do damage them with your ultimate, which will do obviously a lot of damage, you're also going to apply burn, which will then scale even more off your attack. So yeah, I just give her for attack because it's the only time you ever use it in Tower Trials when you want some more AoE damage dealers. Grey Road, I've given her 4 HP. It's just probably what you want. I don't know. I think probably the same reason towards Henrickson. You only probably ever use her in the night boss, so at that point maybe give her full accuracy. It's just I think I rolled HP a few times onto the character naturally to where I thought, okay, you know what? I don't use her. I probably don't even use her on my night boss anyway because I have other characters like my Glocks in the air. So yeah, full HP or full accuracy on the Grey Road. And then we also have Jericho. Jericho's a weird one, man, because she wants to crit, but she's also a frontline damage dealer. So at that point, she's more likely to die. I have given her 4 HP, but that's only because, yeah, I'm worried she might die. And her being alive to where I can get swiftness is probably the main reason why I'm using her, because getting final attack for your in characters, if you're rather running a full in team, it's probably because you're using Barn. At that point, you can bring King. And then also Escanor's type advantage over everyone. So you're going to bring him anyway, right? Even in your full in team. Unless you're doing Tower Trials. I don't know. I feel like in Tower Trials, she dies a bit too quick because she's in the front line. I've given her HP. If you're using a full in team anyway, you have obviously Arthur to get the crit chance, so she's got access towards more crit chance anyway. Yeah, let me make her survive. I'm giving her 4 HP. Zaratros is 4 HP only right now for me, just because he is a really low deep level. If he was like 6, 7, 8 star a little bit, I would actually use him more in, let's say, I guess even Tower Trials, or maybe even in the Gold Dungeon farm. And at that point, I want to have full attack onto him. Only right now, because he's low deep level, I can't use him at all. I've given him 4 HP. But if you get him towards like 6, 7 star, I'd probably end up giving him full attack. Okay, so for Gelda, I think right now with Merlin in the game, you want to give her full attack. I think in the past, you might want to lean a bit more into towards crit chance because you want to heal off this actual tier 2 skill. And if you're using her, you're probably using her in Tower Trials. And at that point, she is the only good red healer in the game. And I just need my Derieri to heal to stay alive. So at that point, I want to focus more on critting. But like I said, now with Merlin in the game, you have naturally 20% crit chance. And at that point, I can probably now focus a bit more on healing. So giving her more attack to where when she does heal, or at least crit, she's going to heal more based off that actual attack. And that goes for skill 2. And also ultimate. And yeah, I think that's it for Gelda. Just give her full attack. Jenna, I have given her HP because I don't actually use her because once again she's low deep level. So let me just get more CC out of character. But maybe accuracy, because if you're using her, you probably want her to hit the target to buffer move, right? So that's probably the main reason why you're using her, I think. But she does get some accuracy here, for at least for the blue characters, so it does apply towards herself. So she's already got a bit more accuracy anyway. But considering that she has got 65 range, she's probably likely not going to get targeted unless you're using an PvP. There was a meta before we got like Derieri that people were actually using Jenna, but I think now with their rate in PvP, you probably want more HP because she's going to get targeted a lot. Hauser, full attack. I actually don't use Hauser because once again he's low deep level, but if I was to use him, and I want to use him more in like Tower Trials because I want more good actual DPS character for the light types, we only have what, Gilthunder and Barn essentially. And yeah, if I hadn't duped out, I would give him full attack. I've given him full attack to prepare to when I eventually do get to the high dupe level. So yeah, for me, give him full attack. He is a DPS character. Greymore, I've given him 4 HP. He is a low dupe level, but he is, I think, bugged right now in Knighthood Boss to where if he does break, he always activates the break, even if you still need to activate it 3 times. I don't know, it's a weird thing, but for me, I've given him HP. Maybe down the road, I'd probably switch it towards accuracy. But if you were to unironically use Greymore outside of the Knighthood bosses, then he does have the Veil buff, which you want to give him HPs to where he can obviously absorb more HP through the actual Veil buff. And he's a tank anyway, so yeah, you want to give him HP. And that is going to wrap up today's video. So if this video did help out, guys, then help me out by leaving a like. And if you made it towards the end and you're not subscribed, then you might as well. We're doing content almost daily, at least when we can. You know, we're still covering Grand Cross 2 now. So, guys, thank you for watching, and yeah.